Howdy folks, here's today's soap. Some Irish guy's shaving soap. It's going to be the Irish Stout. I'll read you some of the interesting wording here on the back. It says, urine of an angry leprechaun. I thought that was pretty funny. Anyway, also it says assorted aromas stolen from faraway places. So no leprechauns were harmed in the making of our products. Thought that was pretty cool. I like stuff like that. This is what the soap looks like on the inside, and yes, it is pretty firm, good and solid, and coming right off the puck. I can't tell you exactly what it smells like, the scent. I just know I like it. I'll put the description, link to the site and all that sort of thing, and it's on Etsy also. You got it whipped up here with a synthetic brush. I'm not real sure how to pronounce it. It's YAQI, I guess. And it's a synthetic knot. And I've got it whipped up here in a smooth bottom bolt. Got it from a thrift store. There's it does whip up a little bit on the brown side, so no, that's how it is. And got plenty of lather there. Whipped up pretty good. The shaver of the day. Oh, and I'll have the matching aftershave also. Shaver of the day is a Ever Ready single edge. See if that comes through, if I can get the glare off of it. And that's how it comes open right there. And that is what it looks like on the inside. See if I can get the glare off of there. Thought that was pretty cool. The American Safety Razor Company. Thought that was pretty slick. This is not a 1912 but a 1914 model, if you will. The handle here is it's solid. It does have some weight to it. The blade I'm going to be using today is a Treet blade. This is the packaging that it comes in that I'm using, and what I want to show you is that the back of this box right here, which is cardboard, is right there. That's the back of it. So if you first time you ever use one of these, you'll see that it's perforated right through here. You need to tear it out right there, because that is the back of the box. So in other words, when you tear it out, you see what I'm talking about. There's the back of the box. Otherwise, if you're not careful, you won't have the box. It'll just, all your blades will just dump out on you. And what they look like, matter of fact, I think I've already put it up. It comes, each one of these blades have got a piece of cardboard wrapping around the bottom of it, and this is what the blade looks like. And what it says on there, if it didn't focus, it says 009 RD on there. It doesn't say Treat or anything like that. And this blade, since this is the 14 model, as opposed to the 12, it slides. I get it in there. Slides in there like that. And that's what it looks like when we're done. And if you can tell right there, it tells you to lift here on each side. It's going to be pretty cool. This will be the first time shaving with this particular razor. I just got it in. It came in a case. Probably ought to take all this out. This is the case that it came in. I have not seen, could be wrong, but I think this is the first one I've seen with a case like this. And where it says Ever Ready right up here. And this is what it looked like on the inside. And also came with the blade bank there, with one vintage blade, which is, there's not a name stamped on it, but I can tell you this blade weighs a whole lot more than the one I just put in there. This one has quite a bit of weight to it. Guess you might say a testament of how things have changed over the years. But this case here to me is, I kind of like this case. It's being all metal. To me, makes it a pretty nice travel razor. With this kind of casing, it might be able to withstand a little bit of pressure if you're traveling, as opposed to one that's a Bakelite. I wouldn't really want to take a Bakelite traveling. Afraid something bad would happen to the case. I've already hot towel to the face, the bloom water. Matter of fact, as soon as I put the bloom water and I started working in my face, it just lathered up real quick. So I was really impressed with that. Go ahead and get started here with the face. We are, this morning was fairly chilly here, and there was a freeze warning out for the area. So in other words, we're getting down around freezing. Of course, then it's going to turn right around and I think by the end of next week, it's supposed to be back up around 80 again. So lows and highs are all over the place. I have, my growth is a little bit longer than what it normally is due to, yesterday morning I had a doctor's appointment where I needed to be at the office at 6:15 in the morning. And being there that early in the morning means that my shave was very early and quick yesterday morning. And I didn't post it till late and didn't get around to a lot of my normal posting, like on Facebook and whatnot, so it was kind of limited on what I got out. But it was because of that doctor's appointment. It was bright and early. It's one of those appointments that nobody likes to go to. It's at my age, I had yet to have a colonoscopy. Yeah, one of those fun ones. Because I tell you, that prep was no fun. Not fun at all. Clear liquids, and then drinking that nasty stuff, and then sitting on the toilet most of the time after that. But if you haven't had one of those, you get the result pretty quick. So in other words, before I even left, I already knew what the end result was, and good to go. No issues. What can I say? My wife, she's been after me for quite some time to have it done, but she was disappointed that it came out, in that I wouldn't have to go back and redo all that all over again year after year if you have polyps or anything of the sort. But I had fun with it afterwards. We'll go ahead and get started with the first pass here, and that does look a bit different than your 1912 on how that looks. Definitely get some feedback on it. And your experience between the 14 and the 12 will be quite a bit different. Now, as it goes for blades, your selection of blades is kind of limited. There's a, if you go to tryblade.com, there's a, he'll have it stamped on the cardboard packaging on the blade. It's a gem. I like that feedback. If I remember the lettering correctly, it's a PTFE. And all that's saying is that it is Teflon coated. If you're unfamiliar with all that. I would have to say the one that most folks may have an issue with, and when it comes to a blade, is the any one of them that says it's carbon steel. I think that is the one that most people take issue with. Because it is a different shave feel. And you might like it in the 1912 model, but in the 1914 model you may not like it so much. May not like it at all. Because it is different. Just depends on what your preference is. Boy, this sure does sing. A lot of feedback on this one. think this is only my second 1914 that I've got. I may have one more. I have to say the 12s are more of my favorite. It's a different shave feel. It's something with this kind of feedback. It may be troublesome to some. They may not appreciate that kind of feedback. And also, if you're wondering, I still have my DE sitting over there just in case something doesn't go quite as well as I expected. It's a slant loaded with a Persona blade. Feels pretty decent so far. Just a lot of feedback. It's not a bad shave by any means. This end is really nice. I have had my eye on this soap for quite a while. Probably a year, maybe longer. Yeah, I can just smell it. It's pretty nice when my nose is working. I like to be able to smell my soap as I'm lathering up and applying it to the face. And I would have to say the scent strength is more than middle of the road. It's not strong. I say it's about medium. Maybe a little bit more. It smells great, especially this time of the year. I don't think it's in there, but my nose being what it is, I almost pick up hazelnut. Interesting. If you have any allergies, you may want to take a good look at the ingredients, because if I remember right, there's might be some nuts in it, and then maybe that's where I'm picking up the hazelnut. It smells great. I also like hazelnut in my coffee, so when I first started drinking coffee, I was in the Army. But once I got stateside, hazelnut was the first flavored creamer that I'd ever tried. I was kind of surprised. I wasn't too sure, what to think of it using any kind of flavored creamer. And I was really surprised on how much I liked it. Of course, you will hear that school of thought about just drinking it black. No way, can't do it. That is not for me. Drinking a straight up black, I just cannot do that. So far it's feeling pretty good. I'm not picking up any places where Guess you might say where it got a little rough. Either pressure or angle wasn't quite right. So far I'm doing pretty decent. I say I don't shave with this particular, the 1914 model, very often. Just find myself kind of gravitating to the 1912, but I'm really, this case was what caught my eye, and not having very many 1914 models, I thought I'd give it a try, especially for the case. The case looks nice. I like that case. Yeah, it's going pretty good. I have noticed, I was reading, when it comes to lather in a scuttle, and it was mentioned about, of course the scuttle was warm or hot, and about the lather drying up, and it just might be an indication that you might want to whip your lather up a little bit more on the moist or wet side than what you're accustomed to, if you're not accustomed to using a warm or a hot scuttle, however you want to word it. Hot is subjective about like a scent, in my opinion, because what's hot to me most likely is not going to be hot to you, because I know my hands are very sensitive to that sort of thing. I guess you might say I don't have man hands. My hands are, it's hard to keep a callus on my hands. So I guess you might say the skin is very thin and very sensitive to heat, or cold as far as that goes, temperature. I don't know if you can hear that feedback, but it sure is loud over here. That is one thing nice about these razors. You can continue on because they don't clog up with the lather. Still catching, I guess what you might say, I'm doing my pickups already. I know that with my the way my hair grows, adjusting that like I just did, I did my pickups right there, because I know that's the easiest way to catch that area, knowing how that grows right there. Have another, it's a really thin little layer, a strip of hair that grows through here, that grows odd like that, where you kind of sort of have to rotate your pass through there in order to catch all of it. I guess you might say, in other words, you're doing your pickups as you go. Right through there. And it's not, in other words, with all the other three passes, if you go strictly with the grain, against the grain, across the grain, I still have that little strip through there that is not, in other words, you have to adjust all the way through there in order to get it. And now it's pretty much gone. Right there, there's still a little bit. I really like shaving with these single edge razors. I was already thinking about this morning. I may have I know I've already got one issue as it goes for, I say issue, something that well, it's going to break up my routine is a fellow wet shaver was selling his one blade core. If I remember right, I understood it correctly, this would be the version 1. I have not followed this real close, so you take this for what it is. I guess there's a version 2 of the core out. I guess some folks were a little unhappy about certain things about the first one. I'm not exactly. I think the first one of the complaints was maybe it was too mild of a shaver. At any rate, one of the fellow wet shavers, Ross, he said he was selling his, and I used that as an opportunity to buy a used core version 1 to give it a try. First, I really wasn't interested. Well, the very first one, of course, the $400 one is quite a bit out of my budget, and I had already been very interested in the Focus Dynamic single edge. And the reason I was really interested in it is the fact that you're not tied to any one blade manufacturer. You can use whatever DE blade that you want to use in there that works best for you. And I really like that idea. And that's the reason why I was really drawn to the Focus Dynamic. But at this price point where he was selling this core 1, version 1, I thought I would give it a try. It comes with some, he sent some feather blades with it, and I think I'm going to start on Monday. I'm going to start giving this a try. See how it works out for me. I had seen where the Clean Shaver, where he shows how to despine a single edge blade, and I think I'm going to give it a try also. So I think I'm going to, next week I'll be going through a week's worth, or 5 days worth of shaves with it to see how it works out for me. I think I'm going to use the feather blade as well as a despined single edge, and I haven't decided whether, and I probably will go ahead and, since I'm fairly comfortable with this one here, go with that one. In other words, giving the core a good chance of succeeding, going with a blade that I'm shaved with and get comfortable shaves with. In other words, darn near any shaver that I use. So in other words, it's not like maybe a Powell Carbon Blue where you might, get a good shave in this shaver, but not necessarily in another shaver. It's not that particular for me so far. So I'm going to probably go with that blade after I despine a couple of them. Thought I'd give it a try, see how it works, and I thought at the price point, picked it up for $30. Thought at that price point, that's pretty inexpensive compared to the $50 or so that you might spend, if you bought it brand new. Gonna need to go ahead and kind of excited to give it a try, so that with my experience with the Focus Dynamic, it gives me a good starting point what to compare to in between the two, besides price. And I understand that it may not be a straight up fair comparison due to the fact that the version 2 is out. For me, it's more along the lines of if both of these, version 1 and the Focus Dynamic, are how can you say, mild shavers, can you get a good shave, a mild one, without irritation, effortless, all that sort of thing. In other words, I guess you might say, just basing it on basic principles from, in my opinion, from my experience. Humphrey's Witch Hazel. Because then I understand version 2 might shave differently. At least it's supposed to, from what I understand. But I guess you might say I'm counting on the fact that you should be able to get a smooth shave with both of them. Even if one's a little bit more aggressive than the other, you should be able to get a smooth shave depending on your technique, in other words, your experience. And also I'll be treating the core just like I did with the dynamic, in that when I shave with it, I plan on treating it as if the head is fixed until I get a good feel for it. And to me, that just worked out better for me to treat it that way than try to jump right into the pivoting head, because it's been way too long since I've shaved with that sort of thing. Aftershave. I have not smelled this just yet, so matter of fact, I just tore off the safety wrapping this morning. Still, oh, I really like this. This is if you want to put these in a category, fall, winter, summer, spring, all that sort of thing. Fall going into winter, and winter, maybe. For me, I just use it year round. It's whatever I'm in the mood for. This has a great scent. It's not like I have a Irish Stout from Zoe Beauty Boutique, and it's not the same scent. Not that I'm complaining, I'm just, saying that it's different. It's interesting sometimes how people will have one person's take on a particular scent. In other words, like bay rum, there's hordes of different scents. Man, this smells great. I like these kind of scents. Yeah, but if you have like a peanut or nut allergy, you might want to stay away from this one here. Like I say, you really want to look at his ingredients and what he's claiming in his on his website there on Etsy. I'll have a link down below. 3.5 ounces, by the way. Man, this smells great. I really like this. It's my kind of shave. Okay, once again, this was with a, better wipe that off. This is the 1914 model. It will give you a different shave than the 1912. So we just want to throw that out there. In my opinion, you're not going to get the same shave feel in between the two. At least I didn't. That's my experience. Not the same. Not that I'm complaining, it's just a different shave feel. Still got a great shave. And the blade, that's how it fits down in there. You'll notice I'll go ahead and take this blade out. So in other words, you're going to slide it down in those two hooks right there. And then you got your stop hook set down there at the end. That's how it slides in, just and clamps down like that. Got a lot of, I guess you might say the blade is exposed quite a bit right there. Not that that has anything to do with how much is meeting the skin, that's just how it's showing. Really enjoyed this morning's shaves. Hope everybody's doing well. Enjoy your weekend. And tomorrow I will start with a different DE razor. Looks aggressive, but I'm going to give it a try and see how aggressive it is. Stay safe and smooth shaves to you.